Well, what's up, folks? It is Friday Eve, Thursday night for those who like to keep track of the days of the week. And tonight, it is episode 190 as we get ever so closer to episode 200. If you guys remember episode 100 and the slew of folks that we had on there, well, 200 will be just as fun. But unfortunately, by the time 200 rolls around, the NFL season will begin. And so the legendary guests that we had will probably be tough to get back. But nonetheless, it is Thursday night. And we have a great show lined up for you as we have the owner and his partner from Pete's Famous Pizza. You guys may have heard, of course, it's back home in Philly. The pizza, and if you reach, or if you, at least you visit their establishment, I should say, you guys know it should be great pizza. I would love to know, only because I'm down here in Tampa, so I can't taste it right now. But as soon as I get back home, I'll be able to taste it. So Pete's here with us. Also, if I hope I don't say the name incorrectly, and if I do, I apologize. Hopefully, he'll let me know as soon as he comes on. But Moustaki Authentic Heroes. Some people say gyros. It all depends on the way you end up saying it. But I'm pretty sure Pete will let me know as soon as he comes up here on the other side if I said it correctly or not. Hopefully, I didn't butcher it. And if I did, well, I'll find out because it is our newest sponsor. Join us here on Broad Street South. And I want to say thank you even before he comes on. Also, thank you to everyone who tunes in over on AMP Radio, especially over on Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game. And if you guys were just listening, Tony and Miss Robin were just on about 2 hours ago. They came on tonight because they are traveling to Philly. So if you guys are looking for them tomorrow night, they are not live tomorrow night. They were just on just about 20 minutes ago here on Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game. So if you guys missed Tony Bruno, Miss Robin, the replay will come up later on this evening into tomorrow so you guys don't miss a thing. So with that all being said, I appreciate everyone tuning in each and every week. As you guys do, I appreciate the love, the support, and the energy. And with that being said, I'm Angel Martinez. Welcome to Broad Street South. For a second time because that's what happens when you go live. But with that being said, it is Ryan F., my co-host. Ryan, how are you this evening? Other than the little fumbles that we're absolutely having.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ryan F. It's great to be with everybody this evening. Hey, we get to talk Philly sports. We get to talk food. You know, it's not a gyro, it's a hero, or a euro, or a hero, or something like that. I'm not up on my Greek, let's just bring them on. Let's get into it. Let's introduce them.
All right. Well, thanks for the lovely introduction as you did it there, Ryan. But here with us are the gentlemen of Pete's Famous, and I'm not gonna butcher your name again. So, Pete, first of all, thanks for joining us. Little introduction, if you don't mind, for everyone who's tuning in tonight, because again, I'm not trying to butcher any names.
It's Moustaki Authentic Gyros. So you guys got it. You were close enough, Ryan. It's all Greek to me, you know.
And of course, we have your partner who is on the road, as he mentioned to us in the very beginning here that he is working. So on the drive home, in the dark, if we can do a small introduction.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, my name's Costa, but everybody just calls me Gus. It's easier, right? I mean, it's just easier my name's been butchered enough, more than Moustaki has been. So we just stick with Gus now, you know?
That works, Gus. No problem. So, by the way, Gus and Pete,
yeah.
so the owners of Pete's Famous Pizza, again, Moustaki, Authentic Heroes, you guys, as Pete, we were talking yesterday, and you guys just happen to open up your second location in Center City. So, how's that going so far?
It's going great. We opened our second Moustaki Authentic Gyro location on Tuesday, right in the heart of Center City, Philadelphia. It's been going good. Yeah, we're more than happy with it. It's way better than what we expected. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So now I want to get so for everybody who tunes in, because we do have people here stateside, people internationally who watch the show overseas. So I want you guys to kind of give us and whether being you or Gus, whichever one takes the lead here, but so we can know, the viewers can know as well. How did you guys go about starting the business, and then what did it take to finally get not only to the first one but to the other establishments that you guys have right now?
It's a long story, but I'll try. Try
Yeah.
to keep it short. So my grandpa, he's the founder of Pete's Famous Pizza. It opened up in 1980. So I was getting done college and kind of fell into the business in a way. I was working with my grandpa for a while, and I kind of fell in love with the business, and I loved it. So I kept with it, and was at the 21st Street location, and then I started operating the Fairmount location of Pete's Famous Pizza. Um, I brought Gus on. What was it, Gus? 2014,
I think it was 16. It was the
2016.
year Georgie was born.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2016. We brought Gus on, and it was awesome. Then me and my wife, we opened up the first Moustaki location in Logan Square. Gus was also an instrumental part of that. Helping us open that biz up. Me and Gus opened up our the third pizza location in South Philly last fall. So, um, and then last week we opened up our second
The
Moustaki
second
Authentic
shot.
Gyro location. Yeah.
So you
We have
guys,
another one coming in Fishtown in the fall. This fall coming up, we're going to be opening up another Moustaki Authentic Gyro location. So yeah, we're just we're young, so we're just going to keep grinding away.
That's
that's
it.
but that's a good thing though, because again, in Fishtown, okay. So for those that don't know, Fishtown, if you and we'll start showing our age here, in the 70s and 80s, Fishtown used to be really popular, beautiful part of Philadelphia, and then it went through its phase in the mid to late 80s up until the very early, and I would say at least maybe 8 to 9 years ago, where finally the turnaround started coming around in Fishtown. To now where you can go out there and at least have fun. I don't know after what happened 2 years ago, maybe it's a whole different story. But I know, as far as Fishtown, it definitely needed that revival, especially Frankfurt Avenue. I mean, they've been doing a great job trying to keep extending it. I think once we get that one part of the L that maybe nobody wants to know about, but I think if Fishtown keeps extending out the way it's going, I think it's going to be great. And you guys being young entrepreneurs and young business owners, it's a good thing to expand because that means that you guys are doing the right thing and your customers are coming back, which is the most important part. And looking at the menu that you guys have, I mean, a lot of the stuff, I will say this much, even watching on Instagram, my mouth was like savoring because you can just tell like the food looks so great. And Pete, you and I were talking about as far as the church that you went to in Upper Darby from the Greek festival. So if your food is just as great that I used to taste before at the Greek festival, I would make the trip back home just to go to your restaurant, just to devour everything you have on the menu.
Nice. Yeah, all of our at Moustaki, all of our meat is hand carved, hand stacked. We do the gyros. We do it the authentic Greek way with French fries inside the sandwich. So yeah, our tzatziki's homemade. Everything we make as fresh as possible. And as we continue to grow, our main thing is to keep everything as fresh and as authentic as we can. That's like our main goal. So that's what I think keeps customers coming back.
And I'm telling you, that's the best part, especially in their Fairmount location. As far as for Pete's Famous, like you guys are right, and I'm super drawing a blank. But for Halloween, why am I missing it? What's the
The you're thinking of the
Penitentiary.
penitentiary, the
yeah
Eastern State. Yeah.
yeah? So you guys are like in a prime spot over there because obviously that I mean that gets busy. They so first of all, did they bring it back? Because I know for during COVID and everything else, they had shut it down and had put it away. Have they brought it back since?
They brought it back. It was yeah. They shut it down for a while. They brought it back. It wasn't as big as it was, but I think it's starting to come back. I think it's
It's
going to
starting to
come back.
come back. Yeah, I think it's pretty. Yeah, it's coming back because they're. I had a friend of mine who worked the penitentiary, and they were actors for the haunted house, and they said this past year was like the biggest turnout they had since COVID. So I guess people are feeling more comfortable, coming out and stuff.
But that's it. And again, it's needed. You got to bring things back to normal. No matter which way you look at it, you got to bring it back to normal. Now, down here in Florida, we're lucky because I think we used COVID for excuse for about 4 months, and then we went back to normal. Slowly but surely
Yeah.
started opening things up, and then just ramped everything up. And thanks to Governor DeSantis, I know a lot of people are probably not a fan of him, but the man has done a lot of great things down here in Florida and continues to do great things. So I applaud the man for trying to run for president. Is he going to make it as a president? Come on. I'm not going to kid myself. Of course not. He's not going to do it. But at least, he's given his best shot. but as far as on the pizza side, and then we know Greek food, if if cooked right, if done right, absolutely delicious. I mean, you can't go wrong because you taste every flavor. It's not like you can go to the store and get yourself like sliced meat, and it's plain stuff. Put it between two buns, and it's nothing. Greek food, because you guys are so authentic and everything is old school. It's just like when us in the Spanish community. It's the same way. If you go to you go to Taco Bell, it's not Spanish. I hate to break the news to you folks. That's not Spanish. So let's not get that one twisted. But it would be something like that. So it will almost be like if you guys went to KFC and you wanted a hero from KFC, it's not going to be the same. So Pete, with what inspired as far as the food that you guys end up making, is there a lot of like you said, either from the family, and is there some dishes that maybe you and your wife and Gus that you guys decided you want to kind of create and push out there to see what people would end up enjoying the most?
Yeah, so we so growing up, I used to go to Greece a lot. My mom's side of the family, they're all in Greece. I mean, my mom and my grandma, my grandpa were like the only family I had from her side here. So going back to Greece, like instead of getting like a hot dog, people would go out and they would get gyros. That's like what you eat when you're like late night food, or that's like the Greek street food. So just growing up eating that, I always thought it'd be cool to bring that to Philadelphia. Because there was really nowhere to get like an authentic Greek gyro. So that was really the inspiration behind it, and you know, it's pretty cool.
No, it is, because I'm telling you, if you guys don't, so the people who live in the Philly market, I'm going to say, and by the way, before I sound like a complete moron, do they still have the Greek festival at the church?
Yeah, each church.
Let's speak on that.
Each church, like we were actually talking about that earlier today with somebody, how there's like 7 or 8 different Greek Orthodox churches in the Philly area, and they do like a rolling festivals. So no church will have their festival on the same weekend as another church,
Right.
so everybody goes out to each church, each location. It's pretty cool. It's fun.
No, it is, Gus, because I'm telling you, the one in Upper Darby, that was, I couldn't believe when it first started out, it didn't seem like it was going to be as big, only because people didn't really know. And if
Yeah,
I do remember correctly, it was they did it once a year. Then it got so big, they had to do it twice a year. It's like, I think the spring,
yeah.
fall is the way they did it. But I
So
mean,
we,
it was such a great time though,
yeah,
because the beautiful thing about with a lot of Greek folks that I've met in the past, you're welcome as family, even if they don't know you for like a minute. And that was the fun part about going to the festivals, because you go there, not only are you getting just authentic food, but the atmosphere, the music, the culture. So if you don't know it, buddy, end of the night, either you're dancing, you're doing something because it's a pulling effect. Everybody pulls you in because like, oh, you've never been here before. Well, let me explain to you what is going on. And then the desserts, Lord knows the desserts go forever, but they're great desserts though.
yeah.
And I think that's what's great about the Greek community, because you guys bring literally everybody together. I don't care where you're from, what walk of life, none of that stuff. When you go to the Greek church, when you go to the festivals they end up having, it's truly a beautiful thing, because you guys end up doing it right. I mean, it's you hit everybody in their stomach, and that's what they love the most,
That's that's my church, the Upper Darby one, St. Demetrius, and it's Philotimo, we call it.
right?
That's the word in Greek, Philotimo. We're very warm people. Just like our, you know, everyone's family. That's how we look at people. No strangers.
No, and you're right. And I wish, man, I wish I can remember. I still can't remember that pizza shop, Pete. I'm trying to remember for the life of me. That was on the
Oh, the
on the
one in
pike up
Upper
there.
Darby. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm still
yeah.
trying to remember, because, like I said, Effie and her husband, and I'm almost certain her husband's name was Alex. I know her daughter's name was Paige, or Alex was might have been the
Is,
son,
is,
one or two. But she was
wait,
there for like, they were there at least 25 years altogether, and then
you
they
thinking of you thinking of Long Lane Pizza?
no, that's not it. It was further up.
That's not it. There's an Alex that owns the. Okay.
No, there's another one. Man, I know it's up on the pike too, but it's up on the pike. not that far away from 69th Street. I mean, you're literally maybe
Right.
2 miles up from 69th Street. God, I wish I could remember. I know it'll come to me when I'm not thinking about it, but anyway, she
But yeah, yeah, it's
yeah,
all right.
no, it's fine, Gus. You were saying?
No, no, sorry. I said that's what'll probably happen. Like we'll get off this call and you're like, I remembered, and you'll be like texting Pete. Tell him like 2 o'clock in the morning. I remembered. I remembered. That happens to us all the time.
It does, especially when you start getting of age, like Ryan. When you just forget stuff, he's got to take his
Grabbing a
his other pills.
Metamucil. No.
Yeah.
Ah, leave the cheese stand alone.
No, but listen, but thank you guys obviously for coming on a new part of Broad Street South here. And obviously it's always a connection from Philly down here to Tampa. And the beautiful thing about being down here is obviously the Eagles are coming down to play in the Bucks. 97.5, the Fanatic will be down here. So it'll be great to get together with those guys. And now we get another reason to tell those guys to try a new restaurant if they haven't tried yet back home so they can get the authentic taste of some good Greek food. But so switching here from obviously Greek food now to sports, and what I learned obviously from Pete and Ryan, even though he may not like it, though, the team that we both stray away from in Philly, Duke basketball. What are the odds that someone else comes on and said the same thing as far as when it comes to Duke basketball? Because I'm telling you, Coach K was just a man. I'm sorry, the Cameron Crazies. I went to that place before. It's an absolute beautiful place, but it's a really small venue. So if you guys have not been there, it's extremely small. But what made you, Pete, to actually like Duke as well?
I don't know. I mean, when I was in high school, just watching JJ Redick. I mean, knocking down all those threes. That just made
Pete's a sharpshooter. Don't let him fool you.
As a shooter myself, I kind of
All right.
don't love Duke, but not Coach K. I mean, the whole program. I don't know. I just always like Duke. That's my team.
Now, Gus, I'm assuming you're not a Duke fan.
No, not at all. I can't stand them.
I think that's majority consensus because I believe my co-host up there, he's as we continue to learn new things at Mr. Kentucky.
Well, Gus, what's your team?
Kentucky and Duke have a history, and I still go back to 30 years ago when Leitner hit that. Oh my God, it makes my blood boil now when I think about it. And it's like 30 years later when Leitner hits that last second shot to beat Kentucky, and they go to it was the Final Four. No, it wasn't the Final Four. It was the Final Four, I think. I believe because it was in Philadelphia.
It was in Philly, yeah.
It was in Philly.
So that was even more of like a into the back. So Kentucky and Duke have a rich history going on all the way back to the 70s. To be quite honest with you.
So I'm assuming. So what if you follow which basketball team as far as college, or do you not follow a college team?
I love college basketball. So I worked in I used to work in like Radnor, Bryn Mawr area, Villanova, when they won both championships. So it was like pretty easy for me. But like my Duke hate, and I don't know. I think Pete came to this game. We went to Duke Temple. Remember that?
Yeah.
Years ago. I think we were like fresh out of high school, and Temple beat Duke at Wells Fargo Center. And I think we were like with a couple of our buddies. We gave Pete crap the whole night. Like it didn't end. And that was the best. I love that. That was awesome. That was great for us. I'll never forget that.
It's amazing. Like certain things you can kick back in your memories and stuff you end up doing that I wish so we were nerds in high school, except for that I love my sports. And there was out of the nerd herd, and there was about 10 of us, 3 out of the 10 ended up really enjoying sports. My one buddy played football and he wrestled and did actually a pretty good job. Didn't do enough to be able to get to college, but became a cop afterwards. And I think now he's in his 30th year being a police officer. But and ironically, because the guy couldn't, not that he didn't like and any of the local police, because he never got himself into trouble. He was like, I'm not going to do that. That's freaking ridiculous. And then I end up joining the military, and I come to find out he became a police officer. So just the way life works. It's the most ironic thing. But sports is the one nice thing about it is sure, you can have a favorite team. If you move somewhere, you might end up picking up another team. This is what Ryan was talking about a little bit earlier. So with the Flyers, you drive me as nuts as they've been. Maybe now with Briere being in there, with the changes they decided to make, with Jonesy coming in, maybe the Flyers are finally start going back to the way they were beforehand. But when I moved down here to Tampa, I started listening to a lot of the Lightning games before moving down here just to see what the feel was. And it was weird when I first came down because you guys got to understand it's 90 plus degree weather. And you have the fans were either in hoodies, the wool caps, in the sweaters. I'm like, what are you guys doing? It's freaking insanely hot. And this is before I went inside the Amalie Arena. When you go inside the arena, so it's 92 outside, it's about 45 degrees inside the Amalie Arena.
Oh,
So I can understand then because you have to pump in so much cold air so that the ice won't melt. And when you walk by the side of the building, you can literally turn into Mr. Freeze on the outside because the return air coming out is just as cold inside the arena. But the first year when I moved down, the fan base was like really wishy washy. There weren't too many fans because they it's been so long since they won a Stanley Cup. But the year they ended up winning the Stanley Cup was obviously the year I moved down in 2018. And the first year they got eliminated, they end up having the best record in the NHL. Next 2 years, then they're winning the Stanley Cup. So a lot of the people that were around here was like, oh, I can't believe you're still a Flyers fan and so on and so forth. I'm like, listen, I'm following what your team is doing until my freaking goofy team starts to get their act together. But the Flyers, to me, and Ryan's heard this millions of times, and Pete and Gus, I don't know if you guys think the same exact way. The only thing that it seemed like the Flyers cared about within the last 3 or 4 years was that goofy mascot because they didn't.
that's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, the lines didn't change. Nothing changed with the Flyers organization. And then obviously after Ed passed away, I seriously thought they were going to end up selling them because it didn't seem like the kids didn't want to do anything about it. But finally, maybe they listened to their fan base because I'm sorry, if I'm a season ticket holder, I'm asking for a refund for the last 5 years of my life because I gave you all this money and in return you gave me garbage. So I'm hoping that maybe things will turn around. So I would like to get Gus. I'll start out with you. I don't know if is this team finally going to start turning things around?
I hope because Philly, like everybody, we're a hockey town as well. Like we're a football town, of course, but Philly was a great hockey town. Like I grew up watching Eric Lindros, the Legion of Doom, Rob Brindamore, all those guys, John LeClaire, and I remember my grandfather when he first came from Greece. That was the only sport he like gravitated to. So I was like, we had season tickets, and then like once the 2000s came and then like the 2010s, it's like they had that one Stanley Cup run against the Blackhawks. They lost, but I think Danny Briere is doing the right thing. It's just a fire sale right now. Just you need to fully commit to like a rebuild because
Yeah,
the fans deserve it. Philly 100% deserves a good hockey team. I believe it.
they do. Pete?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, growing up, yeah, hockey was big when I was in like fourth grade, fifth grade. I just love hockey.
Yeah,
Um,
Lindros.
yeah, Eric Lindros, Leclaire, all those guys. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's just recent. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of fell off. so
they did. And that's what I mean. I mean, you build a nice venue. I mean, Lord knows a lot of us grew up with the Spectrum. I absolutely adored the Spectrum. It was just it was Philly. You want between that and what you had RFK right next door before they decided to tear that down, obviously then to build the Wells. But I mean that it was just it was many, many memories that came from there. And speaking of, obviously, from Christian Leitner hitting the winning shot over at the old Spectrum. But I mean, that's when they were gritty. That's when
The
they cared a
Spectrum.
lot. Yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. But now, I just hope that when Josie gets in there, Briere gets in there, I mean, they're those great hockey minds that they will start rebuilding this team and bringing the fan base back because I mean, you lost a lot of Flyers fans. And when you start seeing a lot of the away jerseys coming into your own venue, and Lord knows that the link, everybody knows if you're not from Philly and you go to the link, it was almost like going to the vet, except for there's no 700 level, so you won't get it as bad as you used to do back in the day. But with the Flyers, I just hope they turn things around because Lord knows the Sixers in the same building. I don't know what the progress has been in Chinatown. If they're planning on, or even down at Market, if they're planning on going ahead and making that venue over there. I know they want to get away from the Wells, and it would be interesting to see if they put this stuff together. But I mean, even with the Sixers have tried for years now to put it together. Joel Embiid has been patient. Um, Ryan has an update from us as far as it comes to James Harden, but it's just Flyers hockey's been around forever, it seems like. And now they only have one more season before their name gets erased from Lord Stanley. Because as the years go by, you have to make room. They have to put up a new plate. And so it's not gone forever. Obviously, it's retired, but it's still gone from Lord Stanley. So hopefully the Flyers show within the next 2 years start making the right moves to be able to get back in there. So, and speaking of obviously from the Sixers, Ryan, what was the last update you said about James Harden?
It was just earlier I saw that he had opted in. So the Sixers will now shop him around and look for trade proposals. The quicker they get it done, the better, for as far as I'm concerned, because you don't want this lingering into the summer. As long as it goes into the summer, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and it's just not good. So I don't know what kind of deal they can. I mean, who's going to take on that contract? They're going to. It's going to have to be a really, really tasty trade proposal for them to just unload him, and I just think they're going to have trouble. To be quite honest with you, I just, I don't know. I harken back to the Philadelphia-Boston series again. People are talking about, I know they want to get away from the Wells Fargo, but Philadelphia Sixers fans have that bad taste in their mouth after that Game 7 performance by Embiid and Harden. So I don't know where they're going to go with this. Maybe Bradley Beal. He and Embiid are really good friends. I don't know. Dame Lillard is sitting out in Portland, and I know he's not happy, and I still don't know why he's there. So, again, it's going to have to be a tasty trade proposal. And you were talking about the Flyers. Don't expect too much the first couple of years. It's probably just going to be as bad. But you're right. Philadelphia is a hockey town, but the fans are going to have to be patient a little bit longer. I think Tortorella is the right guy for this city. It's just going to take him 2 or 3 years.
It is. I mean, I'd have to agree because obviously it's not going to change overnight. I just like the fact that they finally decided to do something. I mean, you cannot disgrace the city with just making the Flyers go away. I mean, you have obviously the Eagles who fresh off the NFC Championship, Phillies fresh off an National League Championship. Sixers, not so much, but they get rid of Doc Rivers. As you said, Ryan, you don't think that Doc Rivers was the problem there in the organization. And everybody's going to make a different case because obviously the GM, he has his love fest with James Harden. So it's going to be, if you are going to trade away from him, and Damian Lillard, going back to him as well, as you mentioned earlier, the bad part is that, not bad, but the ownership decided to talk to him and said, listen, we're going to keep you here because obviously we want to build around you. So we'll wait and see. That's going to be a different saga. But I'd like to get your guys' take as well, Pete. Now I'll go with you before I go to Gus. Sixers obviously came up short. A couple seasons now, we keep seeing the same thing from the Sixers. It's coming up short. Now they decide to get rid of Doc Rivers. They pick up Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse coming off a championship a couple years ago, ironically, were obviously the captivating shot that we saw that took the Sixers out. And the rest was history for Toronto. But are the Sixers making the moves that I think that the fans love to see? And as Ryan said, James Harden, a major disappointment in Game 7. How do you guys feel about it?
I don't know. I think the basketball gods have cursed us for tanking. I think that's what happened. I mean, just like season after season, just heartbreak.
It could have been.
I don't think we have enough firepower to compete with these other teams. I mean, you saw the Heat. I mean, the Heat. You look at the Heat organization and how they're able to just compete, and then you look at the Sixers. It's like big games, they just don't show up. I don't know.
Yeah, it's coming off. We lost Gus there for a second. He's come back, but no, it's sinful once again because the Sixers, Lord knows they've been trying, but the bench is not great. And you're right, Pete. When you're talking about, you look at the Heat's bench. First of all, you're the 8th seed that come in to make it to the finals, and end up almost doing it. They just kind of shot themselves in the foot. And Eric Spoelstra, he knows it. He said it afterwards. They pretty much ruined it for themselves. But if your bench is not good at all, and the Sixers have been trying to work on that for like the last 2 or 3 years, you're not going to be able to rest guys like Embiid and Harden throughout the game, for 5 minutes maximum, unless you have a blowout lead and you're able to come back. But I mean, the bench has not been good off for the Sixers. We'll see. Maybe Nick Nurse will find that winning formula that they need. I don't know what's going to happen with the Sixers. I just hope they turn things around. And Gus, I'd like to get your take as well when it comes to the Sixers, if they're finally making moves the way they should.
I don't see it happening. I don't think we have the assets to even move Harden. Like who's gonna, like you guys said, that contract, $37 million. Unless, I mean, he's forcing himself out, but what are we gonna get in return? A couple draft picks. I don't see us. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we might be better off just sticking with him, because what you're gonna get is not. You're not just gonna get the return you're waiting for. We've mortgaged the whole future of this team into what we have, and paying Tobias $40 million, whatever it is, a year is, that's a hurt piece too. So, like I said, there's free agents. There's Kyrie. There's who else is out there? I mean, possibly Dame Lillard. I think Beal's happy. I think he's gonna stay in Phoenix. I don't see Beal leaving Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm like, it's like we're in limbo. That's it. We're like, you don't know what's gonna happen. We just gotta wait and see, I guess.
And the other problem with that is, who the hell would want him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After
Exactly.
the Boston series, who the hell would want him? And the fact of the matter is, in the post-game press conference, when you're asked about your relationship with your coach and you go, it's okay. You get his ass fired, and then, okay, we got rid of the coach because he wanted you to play a certain way. You didn't want to. We got rid of the coach, and you still want to get out of here. So to me, this is almost like a Ben Simmons 2.0.
Oh, please, come on.
They were together for a year. He's trying to blame it on the fact that, we were only together for a year. Some of these other teams have been together 2, 3, 4 years. He's never made the NBA championship. Ever. He disappears in the playoffs. He's got a history of disappearing when the lights are brightest, but who the hell would want him?
No, that's it. But Brian, what cracks me up though is game one. Look how before they brought back obviously Joel Embiid, game one explosive. Like you would have thought that's what you were going to see the rest of the series, and then like the wheels just came off, or he just didn't like that Joel Embiid came back. So, and I don't know what the big rush either was to bring Joel back. So you get the game 3, bring him back game 3. This major push to bring him back. And so I don't know if that was part of it. Obviously, you can't put two big egos in the room because they got to breathe. Those two, I don't think they're the best of teammates, even though they keep saying that they are. Joel Embiid obviously likes a particular Miami Heat that we also liked as well. And unfortunately, the Sixers did what they did. But there's rumors of, will Joel Embiid go down to Miami? I don't see it. Again, there's a lot of money that would have to be put into play. You'd also have to do a blockbuster trade, even if that were to happen. I just don't see that stuff happening. So, but we'll see. Basketball is not that far away. Go ahead, Ryan.
And I'll ask the guys this: what was worse, Simmons passing up the layup and passing it to his teammate, or Harden just completely quitting in Game 7?
Simmons.
Yeah, Simmons.
100%.
That was crazy. that was so crazy.
Not only did Harden choke, Embiid didn't show up either, and they had no answer for Tatum. Tatum was on a different level that night. He just went to work. You couldn't stop him. But Simmons passing that layup up, I'll never forget watching that. I was at Pete's. I'll never forget. I was at Pete's watching that game, and I'm like, what happened? That was horrible. Worst play in Sixers history.
You guys remember when we had a credit card machine and at the store at Pete's, and the 3 button wasn't working.
We called it.
The 3 button doesn't work, just like Ben Simmons' jump shot.
Yeah.
Hey,
I remember that.
Can you guys deliver
Yep.
the Greek fries to Levittown, PA? I'm looking at the Greek fries here, and I think that would
We'll
be
make
quite
a
tasty.
special delivery.
Yeah, we'll make a special delivery for you.
Oh, and the pizzas I was looking at too. I like that barbecue pizza.
Yeah, pizzas are good.
Oh yeah, barbecue chicken.
That's what I'm saying. I see now you understand when I was looking at the menu. I'm telling you, I looked at it yesterday. I looked at it again today. If I could fold it somehow, pop it out from Instagram and put it in a microwave somewhere else. Obviously not in a microwave because that would be distasteful. But if I can make it just come out from, if we can invent all these different things, why can't I just have one that comes out from the phone and just put it out on the table and work that way? Because I'm telling you, the menu looks delicious, absolutely delicious.
You got to
And you
get
guys,
Giannis to come there too.
no, but it's got to be good stuff. Once I get back to Philly, I'm making sure I stop by not just the one location, every location, just
Nice.
so I can get nice and full by the time I end up coming back down here to Florida. But no, listen, I just hope that once again, yeah, and Simmons, there's no way, dude, you'll never get anything worse than Simmons. The worst, probably, character that Philly ever came across.
Ever.
Period. And thank God New York's dealing with it with that big mess they got going on up there, anyways. They got that mess to deal with as well. So you're not building around them. Everybody knows you're not building around them. And then Phillies, we see the Mets, again, speaking of New York, just doing what the Mets do and just implode, which is absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic. Right. I know.
Oh, you going to me?
Yeah.
Phillies? I think it's to be determined. They started off bad. They got hot. Um, I still think the pitching's an issue. I know it's come around a little bit. The Braves are going to run away with the division, I think. So, if Philadelphia's going to have to play it in as a wild card again, I believe. Unless they really catch fire. When we're 3 months into the season now, you sort of have what you have. We had Murph on 3 months ago, and he was waiting for something to happen. So we'll see. I know Phillies fans are just waiting for them to get like really, really hot, like they did last year at one point. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. So, but we'll see. This is coming from a Pirates fan who flat out sucked the last 2 months. So, but we'll see.
So now, Pete and Gus, I'll say this much. So Ryan, again, I just give him a bunch of just grief to put it best and many times. But Ryan is the only guy that will say that the Pirates will win game one of the series and then go 161 the rest of the series. And it's funny because he said the same thing again, and then they started on fire, which is absolutely insane when you really kind of think about it when it comes to the Pirates. But Phillies and I'm glad I mentioned the Mets there, Ryan, because I was hoping you were going to bring up the Mets and the implosion, but it's
But the
okay.
Mets, they're in disarray. They stink. They're just almost as bad as the A's and the Royals. The Mets can never figure it out. So let's just put them way over here, because they never figure it out.
Here's to bring up a good point, Gus, and as much as you may or may not follow as far as Major League Baseball, do you agree with what the A's are doing at this point? One is to obviously to tank, and then the big move over to Vegas.
They went on like a winning streak though. They're like completely. Didn't they just come off like an 11-game winning streak?
Not
They turned it
anymore.
around.
And then not anymore. Yeah, but I don't know that tank that was bad. I mean, the owner, you just like the fans were boycotting. They should just sell the team, man, because you're literally taking there's a lot of history in the Oakland Athletics. Like there's a lot of all-time greats that played for them. You got Ricky Henderson. No matter what you say, he did steroids. Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire.
Yeah.
You're ripping that. That's a lot of history, man. And I don't agree with it. I don't think any sport should be in Vegas for that matter. That's just my opinion. It's a dangerous city to have sports in. That's just the way I feel.
You figure they try to lure Tom Brady over there, but that didn't work out too well. But now, obviously, being part owner, and I could be wrong, Pete. I could be 1,000% wrong here. I don't believe that Tom keeps saying that he's retired. Now, obviously, in Philly, no one loves Tom Brady. We all know this. But it, do you believe, are you convinced, Pete, that Tom Brady is actually retired?
I think he's retired. Yeah, I think he's done. I think he's done. He's retired. I don't know. What do you think, Gus? He's the conspiracy guy. So let's hear what he has to say.
The- what's the
I'll say. Go ahead. Go ahead, Gus.
go like think about it. I agree with you, Angel. I don't think he's retired. Like think about it. Like your supermodel wife is gone now. It's like, well, yeah, he's got kids. I get it, but you're off for most of the year, so he spends enough time with them. So I mean, what's he gonna do sitting at home? I get it. You know what I mean? Like I just the guy's crazy. Like he's the determined person. You
Right.
know, I think he comes back at some point. At some point, I agree with you. I can't see him just like being done. You know.
He took a beating the last 2 years. He took an absolute beating with that offensive line. And that's why he's not coming back. You're going to be 46 this year, I believe. No, he's not. He's done this time. And Asia, you're talking about the A's. It's a travesty what's going on in Oakland. Major League Baseball should be embarrassed. Yeah, A's organization should be embarrassed. What they are doing is an absolute travesty. They should actually pay fans to go to the games. It's brutal. I've never seen anything like it. You talk about a tank job and a blatant tank job. Yeah, they got hot for
Blatant.
a little bit. They got hot for a little bit, but they're 2-9 their last 11 again. They
Like,
stink.
Yeah.
They're
but
horrible.
hang on here there for a second. Which one is worse? Now, you did a comparison when it came to Simmons. Which one is worse? The A's tanking and or let's just go back, I don't know, 10 years ago with the Sixers when Power 99 was giving away free tickets. I mean, literally walking up to the fans in the streets and telling them, here, go to Sixers games. And the fans were saying, what? You want me to go where? So what's worse? Sixers couldn't give away free tickets or the A's tanking.
A's, as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
It's the
I just think
Sixers.
I'm gonna say Sixers. I'm gonna
Right?
say,
Of
didn't, they
course
have,
you
It
are.
hits home.
Of course you are.
didn't the
It hits
Sixers have
home,
open
man.
tryouts at one point?
yep, they sure did. The same year to
Tony
give away the
Bro-
free tickets, it was
Tony-
such an embarrassment.
What do you
It
think?
was.
Bro, Tony Roten was our best player. Dude. Like
Yeah.
nobody knows where he's at now, but we like loved him. Like it hurts. It's home, man. It's Philly. You know, no one
You can't
gets it. I
tank.
don't
Tanking
know.
is like the worst thing you can do.
It is.
Can't, man.
It is.
Can't.
And unfortunately, Oakland's finding that out. It absolutely stinks for Oakland. I feel bad, but again, see, it's all these cities have times to speak to these teams and get something done, and they just choose not to. So here comes Vegas, sweeps it all in, and I'm pretty sure there's an NBA team that's going to go over there. I'm pretty much certain there's going to be one that's going to end up going over there. So the last thing here to wrap up before we end up with the show is obviously minicamp is over. You know, guys are on a couple weeks break. Nick Sirianni says that he hopes that everyone keeps their composure, stays out of trouble, and then gets focused for this season. Now, we know what the expectations were last year. And again, for anybody to say that we're going to make a run to the Super Bowl, everybody talks about, oh, Eagles are going to go, 11-7. The Eagles are going to do, 13-4. Everybody talked, but who knew they were actually be surprising enough to make it to the Super Bowl? So I'll go back to Gus here. Do we, and obviously we don't know because we have yet a game to play in minicamp. There's not a preseason game yet, but I'm not even going to talk Super Bowl. Do we make it at least back to the playoffs?
I think so. Like I mean, Jalen Hurts. He's the guy. I wasn't sold, but I'm sold. He's the guy. I feel like we're talking playoffs, but all honesty, I feel like the NFC is ours to lose. Like
Yeah.
I don't see a team, literally on paper. On paper now, I get it. Every year on paper, this team's this that, but these guys on paper, it's like we look better. I don't know. I don't know. And Jalen Carter, just I think there was just ESPN writer, somebody I read that he's like ranked as like the best defensive player coming out of this draft, even though he had those troubles off the field. But I don't know. I'm Super Bowl or bust. That's it. I'm all in, man. That's it.
Yeah, Pete.
Hey, I'm with Gus, man. I think we're going. I think Super Bowl. Let's have another parade. Let's get
That's it.
busy.
It would be
Yes.
nice.
So
I will say that
parade,
much.
baby.
It would be nice because again, no one. It's funny because and still, no matter what Jalen does, the most ironic thing. Now, will I say that I was the biggest Donovan McNabb fan? Nope. I will say it. If Donovan were next to me, I tell him the same exact way because he just couldn't get things done. And Donovan liked to deflect. Only towards the very end is finally when he started accepting a lot of things. Versus Jalen, he knows when he doesn't do something right, what's he going to fix? What's going to happen? Nick Sirianni is the same exact way. So I like where the team is going. I like the direction. Obviously, the Eagles need to get younger. They realized that come last year. So they're trying to get younger to move it in the right direction. I think short of coming back into the Super Bowl again is a complete bust for this year. So I just hope they end up doing it. Now, Ryan, I know that you will not agree. I know you're going to say Kansas City. So I don't even know if I want you to even say anything at this point. But go ahead, Ryan.
I mean, the Eagles did lose to the Chiefs, by the way, in the Super Bowl. So, but look, if the Eagles aren't going anywhere, now are they going to sneak up on anybody this year? No. There's a lot of teams that are going to give them their best shot, and there's still a team out in San Francisco that has a point to prove. If they would have had Brock Purdy in the playoff game, I think that game might have been a little bit different. Not saying they would have won. But I'm saying that there's a team out in San Francisco that's kind of stout. So, are the Eagles? I don't make any of my predictions until 2 days before the season starts. So, on paper, yes, they would go into the season as being the favorite to win the NFC again. But forget about my Chiefs. I'm good for the year, baby.
Wait.
I'm good for the year.
What was that name again?
What's that?
I'm sorry, we don't allow cursing here, so I don't care about your stinking friggin' Kansas City team. And let's take that ride for now. Pat Mahomes, I'll give it to him. Will he be Tom Brady? No, unfortunately, because you have to cheat in order to be to where Tom Brady is, and that status. So he'll never be there. But Pat Mahomes, many years. I mean, I give it to the kid. He works hard. Not very cocky. His wife, on the other hand, she needs to maybe calm down a little bit this season, and the brother, because they brought a lot of unwanted attention to Patrick Mahomes. But I mean, he is the quarterback to beat right now. I mean, unless Russell Wilson, if Peyton can change Russell Wilson, maybe you're looking at is Denver at least making the playoffs. But again, we'll see. So it's going to be. I can't wait for the season to start. It's right around the corner. It's going to be fun. Obviously, down in Tampa Joe's, our other sponsor, it's always great because that's where all the Eagles fans show up. No KC fans. What? They're wise guys.
No. I was just going to say, I was trying to find it, and I forgot about it, but I'm going to ask the guys here.
Okay.
You got an Eagles player that's still blaming the Super Bowl loss on the field. I can't remember which player it was, but he just came out the other day and said it again. So I was trying to find who it was, but I can't find it. I can't see it offhand. So, but yeah, they're still coming up with excuses as to why they lost this. Get over it. It's over. Focus on this upcoming season.
There were some bad calls. There were some crazy calls.
So was that the picture you sent me today? Was because of the field, Ryan?
No, it's just I was just being a wise ass.
Yeah, I knew you were. God Almighty! I need to find a new co-host. And then this guy.
There's always
I got a Chiefs fan.
Right, listen, Gus. If you guys can take him. Matter of fact, you guys can take him, put him in the basement, put him to work for a little bit, and then if he works out, tell him to wear an Eagles jersey, and then we'll get rid of that Kansas City curse.
Yeah, we're gonna have him making dough all day at the pizza shop. That's it.
There we go.
Yeah.
See? There you go. So there's your new job. And while he's there, make sure you just give him an Eagles jersey. If not, if not, what you guys can do is every customer that walks in, just give them a ball of dough and tell them they can whack it at them as soon as
That's a good idea.
It'll work that way.
I'll make a bet with these guys right now. If the Eagles win the Super Bowl, I'll go buy an Eagles jersey and I will wear it on the show.
All right. I like it.
See now,
You mean
why?
you're gonna come work a shift at one of the shops, right?
There you go. I like that one
I'll
better.
wear an Eagles jersey and come to the shop and work a shift.
All right.
That's it.
Deal.
There we
All
go.
right.
I'll remember that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to bring that up, and I'm going to be sure I put it out there on social media so everybody can hear. So I'm going to cut that part out, and I'm going to
Heard
try
it
to
here
put it
first,
out there.
baby. You heard it here first.
But either way,
That's it.
another night, guys, we'll have to get you guys back on here too, because Gus, you brought up something good as far as when it came up to steroids, because there's so many people, and obviously the younger generation has no idea what we're talking about. But we'll end up getting into that some more, because that played a major part. I mean, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, all those guys, Barry Bonds, I don't care what he says. Him and Mark McGuire, when they came out, they were what, maybe $1.15, $1.20, and all of a sudden they were stacked.
Yep.
So, and then it turned Sammy Sosa. I don't even know what Sammy Sosa is anymore. I don't even think Sammy knows what Sammy is anymore. So, yeah,
And no,
yeah,
it's a shame.
that's gonna have to be another show for another day. But listen, thank you guys not only for obviously coming on the show tonight, and we'll have you back on, because it's always it's fun for us to get the sponsors on and talk, so everybody gets to know. Vince comes on with us every once in a while. Vince Rizzuto from Philly Sports Trips, and it's always a great time with him. So it's just it's good to have the Philly fan base from back home. And I know a lot of people will say, because it is an international show on, why don't you get sponsors from everywhere else? Well, when you reach out to folks, you hope that you get a response. So the big response is, back home, we take care of each other. Just like the Greeks do, the same way we do in Philly, we all take care of each other, except for that guy up there above you guys. So pay no mind to him, because he doesn't do anything. But listen, make sure, Gus, let everybody know once again about your establishments, and then which locations they can go and visit and patronize.
I'm sorry. So we have I'll do Moustaki, Pete. You can do Pete's. Is that
Oh,
cool?
God.
We're at Moustaki Authentic Gyros. We have one location in Logan Square at 161 North 21st Street, and then we're also in the heart of Center City now on 120 South 15th, right near the corner of 15th and Sampson. You can come check us out and get some authentic Greek food.
Yep. Then we got Pete's Famous Pizza on 116 North 21st Street, right on in Logan Square, 21st and Arch. We got a location on Fairmount Avenue. We have 2942 Wharton in South Philly. And we just started our franchise system too. So if anyone's interested in owning their own Pete's Famous Pizza or Moustaki, we're getting that going. So that's in the works. So we'll talk about that another day.
That's where you guys have to bring that. See, that's where you got to start selling here to Tampa.
Hey, we have someone interested in Tampa. We have someone interested in Moustaki in Tampa. So
yeah,
could happen. Could happen.
That'd be good, because then I can finally get. Well, okay, hold on for a second. If they're gonna do it in Tampa, it's got to be the same flavor as Philly. They can't
100%.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Okay,
consistency, baby.
If they do it, I'll be over there, because I'm going to say the owners sent me.
If it's not the same, they're out. They're out. We're sending Gus over there to take over if it's not the same.
I'm coming down. Don't worry.
All right. Well, then when you come down, Gus, I'll make sure I'll go over there. I'll just write inspector somewhere on the shirt, just to make sure that everything tastes well. Listen, guys, thank you thanks for coming on to the show. Also, thank you to everyone who listened in on Sports Radio 102.9 FM, The Game, over also on AMP Radio. Those who watch on YouTube on broadstsouth.com. Don't forget to always visit broadstsouth.com so you guys can get the latest schedules, everything that's going on with the show. And obviously, Ronnie Gent will be back with us here, our NFL analyst. Kevin Mensch will be back with us soon, our MLB analyst, former Texas Ranger. And even, yes, David Murphy, as Brian had chimed in earlier. I texted him throughout the week, and we go back and forth with the Phillies. So all those guys will be back on here momentarily. Again, if you were looking for the Tony Bruno Show and Miss Robin, they were on this evening. So if you guys are looking for them tomorrow night, you will not find them on the network tomorrow night, because they're going back up to Philly, ironically. So thank you to everyone tuning in. To Debbie, over in Studio B, appreciate all her work as well. But Ryan, Pete, and Gus, we thank you all for tuning in tonight. Have yourself a great weekend. And if you're going out for the 4th of July, please be safe, because there's a lot of things going on out there. So be safe, enjoy the 4th, and enjoy the weekend.